Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had your sahur. I am Sharif Mahmoud, by the way, and today we are going to talk about the development of Philippine government. So, by looking at this picture that I made, guys, what can you see? Right, this picture contains different religions, cultures, attires, and traditions here in the Philippines. Now, my second question is, why do you think Philippines has many religions, cultures, and traditions? Or why do you think Philippines is a diverse country? Wow, you guys really studied on this subject. Yes, that's true. This is because due to the fact that the Philippines has been colonized by many foreigners. Now, this results to a wide array of dialects per region, with even the same dialect having different intonations and meanings, depending on the region. And also having many religions, like the majority, Islam and Christianity. And the best part is, no two places are the same, so you are guaranteed to experience a different culture anywhere. This picture relates to our topic because as our country was being colonized by many foreigners, it also develops the government of the Philippines. Now, as I said, our topic for today is the development or evolution of Philippine government. And we are going to tackle only the first three periods, which is the pre-colonial or pre-Spanish period. It was before 1565. The Spanish period, it was 1565 up until 1898. And Revolutionary period, which is between 1868 up until 1898. So I hope you guys will take down some important information because after this, we have 3 questions based on what you've learned. But don't worry, it's easy. Pre-colonial period. During pre-colonial period, the main political unit is the barangay. Now, a barangay came from the word balangay, a kind of boat used by a group of Austronesian people when they migrated to the Philippines. Barangay in the pre-colonial period usually consisted of 100 families or more. However, they also have what they call is the mega barangay, a much larger barangay like Manila and Tondo. Basically, we can say that the barangays during pre-colonial period is a state o estado by themselves because it contains the 4 elements of a state: the government, the citizens, territory, and sovereignty. In an event of upcoming war or a threat of invasion, the barangays form a confederation where they elect a dato from that confederation to be the supreme commander. Now, what exactly is a dato? Ano nga ba itong mga dato? Well, it says here, a dato is the chief executive of a barangay in which he has executive, legislative, and judicial power. You will learn more about these 3 powers, the executive, legislative, and judicial, in the upcoming reporters. The Council of Elders assists the dato in their leadership, where they serve as the dato's advisor. The Council of Elders is made up of senior members of the barangay. They are believed to be knowledgeable in the customs, traditions, and cultural law of their society. If we talk about the form of government in the barangay, we can say that it is a monarchy or monarchical government because the power of the dato can be passed on to his relatives. The picture on the right is a painting by Fernando Amorsolo depicting Lapu-Lapu, a dato of Mactan. Now, let us talk about the social class in pre-colonial period. The first here is the Maginoo class, which includes the dato, his relatives, and the council elders. Next is the middle class, where it consists of two types of people, the Timawa and the Maharlika. The Timawas are the free people. They can choose their dato to serve, they can own a land, they are not tied to one place, meaning they can go wherever they like, and at the same time, they don't need to get the permission of dato if they want to get married. The second people in the middle class are the Maharlikas. The Maharlikas are the feudal warriors of pre-colonial period. The Maharlikas are warriors. They are free people, but they are required to render or provide military service to the dato they serve. For the longest time, we thought that Maharlikas are nobility or a person in charge of society. But it turns out, Maharlikas are warriors. Under the middle class are slaves, of which there are two types. The aliping namamahay and aliping sa gigilid. Remember that the concept of being slave in the pre-colonial period and being slave in the Western culture is different. You'll see why. A aliping namamahay is a type of slave who has his own house. They do not live in their master's house. Then at the same time, they don't do housework, which means hindi sila utusan. Rather, they are slaves who are called only when there is a harvest on crops, when building a house, or when the dato has come up with a project. On the other hand, we have what is called aliping sa gigilid. They are the slaves who do housework and at the same time they live in their master's house. One of the best quality of being sa gigilid is you have the chance to become namamahay. And that happens when you get married. A aliping sa gigilid is often given a new status as a namamahay because when the master puts them in his house, he is responsible for their food and expenses. So the master commonly choose to let them live on their own on another house. Women in pre-colonial period enjoyed nearly equal status with men. They were given importance. They could even hold high characters in communities like healers and priestesses, and they could even handle leadership roles and fight as warriors. They also have the right to inherit a property and had important parts in business and trading. As you can see at the top picture, this painting by Fernando Amorsolo again depicts Princess Urduja. Now that the government during the pre-colonial period has been explained, let us now move on to the point in history when the Spaniards have arrived. Spanish rule began in 1565 or decades after the arrival of Ferdinand Magellan in our country. From 1565 up until 1821, the Philippines was ruled by the Spanish through the Viceroy of Mexico. However, the connection between the Philippines and Mexico was cut off, politically. This is due to the liberation of the Mexicans from the Spanish Empire through a revolution in 1821. Now, from 1821 until our freedom, the Philippines was ruled by the King of Spain through various of councils like Council of Indies, Council of Ministries, and Ministries of Ultramar. Have you ever wondered who is the Philippines named after? Well, the Philippines taken its name from Philip II, who was King of Spain during the Spanish colonization. and on the right side is the photo of him. Before organizing the Philippines into provinces and other political subdivisions, it was first subject to what we call the encomienda system. Now, what exactly is encomienda system? The encomienda system is the division of lands and people here in the Philippines. It is distributed to people who were part of the expedition that colonizes our country. For example, Miguel Lopez de Legazpi and his men became the first encomienderos in the Philippines. As a reward for colonizing our country, they were rewarded with encomiendas. An encomienda is a land inhabited by people that the encomienderos will rule. In the beginning, the purpose of the encomienda system was to quickly convert the natives to Catholic and at the same time teach them Spanish education. Well, unfortunately, the encomienderos or those endowed with the encomienda became abusive, with many of the people living in the encomienda dying as a result of their exploitative actions. Because of this, the King of Spain abolished it and the reorganization of Philippines into provinces and pueblos began. The Spanish introduced the central government in our country. At the top of this central government is the Gobernador General. The Gobernador General holds the legislative, executive, judicial, and even limited ecclesiastical power. So, ecclesiastical means religious. They can appoint or remove religious officers here in our country. Under the Gobernador General are the Alcalde Mayor and Corregidor. An Alcalde Mayor rules a province that can be said to be peaceful and following the Spanish rule. On the other hand, the Corregidors are the leaders in a province that are still chaotic, where there are still an active resistance and people rebelling against the Spanish rule. Let us remember that an alcalde mayor is a civil governor, while a corregidor is a military governor. The photo on the left side is Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, a Spanish explorer who established Spain's dominion over the Philippines that lasted until the Spanish-American War. Under the alcalde mayors or civil governors are those who we call gobernadorcillos. Gobernadorcillos, they are the ones who rules and manage the pueblos, or sa kasalukuyan, pueblos means bayan. On the left photo is a barangay captain of Tondo, Manila that has been gunned down by riding in tandem suspects on August 16, 2019. And under the gobernadorcillos are those who we call cabeza de barangay, or we all know today as barangay captain. Trivia time! Did you know that the term kabisaduhin in Tagalog or memorize in English came from the word cabeza, meaning head or ulo? So, when you say cabeza, di ba nga ulo? So, kabezaduhin, isa ulo. If legislative and executive power is in the hands of the Gobernador General, the judicial power is in the Royal Audiencia. The Royal Audiencia is the Supreme Court during this period. Under the Royal Audiencia is the Territorial Audiencia. We have two of them. One is located in the city of Vigan and the other is located in the city of Cebu. Under Territorial Audiencia are the provincial courts, and under the provincial courts are the peace courts that are located in pueblos o mga bayan. Due to various factors such as the opening of the Suez Canal, the increased population of middle class, and the spread of liberal thought, the nationalist sentiments o diwang makabayan of the Filipinos were awakened. It was the beginning of the Filipino longing for freedom. Here, we will talk about the various republics and government established by the revolutionaries. On August 26, 1896, the revolution began under the leadership of Andres Bonifacio. At this point also, the Katipunan government or the KKK began. Above the Katipunan government is the kataas-taasang sanggunian or what we call the Supreme Council. Under the Supreme Council at the provincial level is what we call the Provincial Council or better known as Sangguniang Balangay. Under the Sangguniang Balangay, here are the ones for the bayan or for the pueblos called Sangguniang Bayan. After the death of Andres Bonifacio, his Katipunan government also disappeared and it was replaced by what we call the Tejeros Republic. Under the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo, in effect of the Tejeros Convention, the Tejeros Republic only lasted about 8 months, after which it was replaced by what we call Biak na Bato Republic. But this republic also lasted only about 1 month because after Aguinaldo and his members agreed that they would leave the Philippines going to Hong Kong in exchange for 800,000 Mexican pesos and the promise that after 3 years, the Philippines will be given an autonomy and freedom. But of course, this agreement failed. In April 1898, the U.S.-Spanish War broke out, in which Aguinaldo took advantage of to return to Philippines, in which he established the dictatorial republic. He chose dictatorial because, according to him, the Philippines is in chaos and he needs to control what is happening in our country. The biggest achievement of Aguinaldo's dictatorial republic was the proclamation of independence that took place in Kawit, Cavite. After that, on June 23, 1898, under the leadership of Aguinaldo, he establishes another republic, which is the Revolutionary Republic. He established this republic in preparation for the imminent liberation or freedom of the Philippines from the Spanish. On September 15, 1898 naman, the members of Aguinaldo's Congress Revolutionary Government met again to sign their agreement to establish the new republic. And this is what we call the Malolos Republic, where the capital was Malolos, Bulacan. Malolos Republic became the first democratic constitution and government in all of Asia. However, it was not recognized by the international community and its life was short. Because after the completion of the Malolos Republic was signed, the Filipino-American War broke out. Malolos Republic ended after Aguinaldo was captured by the Americans, and as a result, it extinguishes the first democratic republic in Asia. Let's assess your understanding in our lesson. Kindly answer these 3 questions in the comment box below. Not in the live chat, the comment box. So again guys, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.